Born on December 26, 1893, in the rural village of Shaoshan in Hunan province during the waning days of the Qing dynasty, Mao Zedong emerged from a peasant background, the son of a strict and prosperous farmer who valued hard work and discipline. Young Mao was a voracious reader, influenced by classical Chinese literature and history, but also drawn to the spirit of rebellion and reform. As a teenager, he became fascinated by the Western ideals of liberty and revolution following the collapse of Imperial China in 1911. He trained as a teacher at the Hunan First Normal School and was drawn to Marxist ideology while working in Beijing University's library under Li Dazhao. Founding member of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in 1921, Mao saw in Marxism-Leninism a path to Chinese salvation but believed deeply in adapting communism to the agrarian realities of China rather than relying solely on urban proletariats. During the turbulent 1920s and early 1930s, Mao organized rural uprisings in the countryside and established the Jiangxi Soviet, a peasant-based communist stronghold, facing constant suppression from the Kuomintang, KMT, under Chiang Kai-shek. In 1934, faced with annihilation, Mao and his followers undertook the epic Long March, a 6,000-mile retreat through treacherous terrain and constant battles, which, though costly in lives, elevated Mao as the unchallenged leader of the CCP. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, 1937–1945, Mao's CCP expanded its influence under the guise of national unity, while consolidating control in the countryside and refining his guerrilla warfare and political indoctrination tactics. After Japan's defeat in 1945, the Chinese Civil War resumed, and through superior strategy, populist land reforms, and brutal purges, Mao led the Communists to victory in 1949, forcing Chiang and the KMT to retreat to Taiwan, and proclaiming the birth of the People's Republic of China from Tiananmen Gate on October 1, 1949. As chairman, Mao rapidly transformed China through radical socialist experiments, initially implementing sweeping land redistribution that dismantled feudal landlord power, but also caused widespread violence and dislocation. In the 1950s, Mao sought to collectivize agriculture and rapidly industrialize through the first five-year plan with Soviet assistance, but his ambitions climaxed in the disastrous Great Leap Forward, 1958 to 1962, where backyard furnaces and forced collectivization led to mass famine, causing an estimated 30 million deaths. Though Mao temporarily receded from day-to-day governance after this catastrophe, he remained supreme leader and returned with fury during the 1966 Cultural Revolution, a massive campaign to eliminate capitalist, traditional, and rightist elements within Chinese society and the CCP itself. Mobilizing millions of zealous Red Guards, often teenagers, Mao unleashed chaos on China's intellectuals, artists, officials, and even his own comrades, leading to widespread persecution, torture, exile, and deaths, all while glorifying Mao's image to cult-like proportions. His wife Jiang Qing and the radical Gang of Four emerged as enforcers of this ideological purge, targeting perceived enemies and rewriting cultural norms. During this time, schools were closed, history rewritten, and traditional Chinese heritage destroyed, but Mao maintained his absolute grip on power even as the country descended into intellectual and institutional ruin. On the global stage, however, Mao displayed strategic brilliance by exploiting the Sino-Soviet split, and in 1972, he shocked the world by welcoming U.S. President Richard Nixon to Beijing, marking China's re-entry into the international arena and shifting the Cold War balance. In his final years, Mao became increasingly frail, suffering from Parkinson's disease, multiple heart and lung ailments, and cognitive decline, yet remained unwilling to relinquish power or designate a clear successor. Despite whispers of internal dissent and the rising profile of pragmatic leaders like Deng Xiaoping, who Mao had purged and rehabilitated multiple times, Mao's word remained law until his death. On September 9, 1976, Mao Zedong died at the age of 82 in Beijing, ending an era of revolutionary fervor, authoritarian rule, and mass upheaval. His embalmed body was placed in a mausoleum in Tiananmen Square, but his legacy remains deeply divisive. To some, he is the father of modern China who ended colonial humiliation and unified the nation. To others, he is a tyrant responsible for the deaths of tens of millions and decades of suffering. Mao Zedong's life is a sweeping epic of peasant rebellion turned authoritarian revolution, marked by brilliant strategy, boundless ambition, ideological extremism, and catastrophic policies that forever reshaped the fate of China and the global 20th century.